the head of the postgraduate program, I'd like to just kind of pick up on some of the aspects of what we have seen in the last 2 days, and perhaps begin to articulate some kind of vision for the school in terms of research, and in terms of looking at the kind of academic outputs and the kind of professional graduates that TUT is placing into the architectural world. So just a little bit of background. TUT was one of the universities that were restructured in the 2000s. It was a technikon, and there was these transformations that happened, and it became a university of technology. And historically, TUT was conceptualized as a kind of school at the margins. I'm talking about the Department of Architecture, in relation to the kind of, in contrast, I suppose, to the kind of traditional architecture schools. And so we've been, for many years now, grappling with this kind of identity that the school has, and the directions that we are taking. And so we'd like to kind of perhaps put something together in a way that refines what it is that we're doing. It's kind of organic growth of the school, if you like. That direction is leaning towards, from what we've seen in the last few years, leaning towards a kind of space where we're looking at the theoretical aspects, bringing together the technology of architecture and the strengths of that. And I think that the university has been, I think, at the kind of margins of the city, at the fringe and the periphery of other universities, and so we see ourselves in a way a space of growth and transformation that we are actually quite in a position of opportunity in terms of how that transformation is going to happen, and I think it's already happening quite organically. So I think also that from what's come out from the last 2 days, and I'm really, really pleased and excited to see this kind of making happening, that there's this theorizing of the technical and the technifying of the theoretical, if you like, and that seems to be a clear direction that we're moving in, and it really makes me excited, because it's not just being done in a very rational way, but it's also being done in a very kind of cerebral and poetic way, if you like. I think it's something that we can build towards and build on, we've come out of different processes, different staff members, different identities, and this kind of not knowing who we are. And I think in some ways it's given us the space to really sit back and think about who we are and what is our focus areas and what our niches are, and I think that we're moving in a very kind of positive direction. So just a little bit about in terms of the technology aspect of coming through in a lot of these designs. I think that it's quite important to let you know also that the undergraduate program has introduced quite a number of new courses this year. We've restructured quite a bit, and one of the new courses that are being taught is building physics and systems design, and a lot of that is pointing in the direction of this kind of technical approach, but also giving kind of rigor to the kind of theoretical aspects that we could explore, and I think that we can really begin to push the boundaries of that kind of postgraduate work. Also, just to mention that our master's, this is the master's design Corobrick event, but we do have another stream of master's degrees, which is a Master of Architecture in Technology, and both of these master's degrees are recognized by SACAP as a PR arc. And that's quite important because there's no other institution in the country that does that. And so, furthermore, I think we're intensifying this idea of technology really becoming a focus of the postgraduate course. So our design master's degree is slightly unique in a way because it's a 2-year master's degree, and many of the other universities don't have that kind of structure. And so the 5th year program focuses on urban and social issues and the impact of design and the kind of social impact of architecture. And I need to, because this audience today, the students that are here today are the 6th years and some of the 5th year students. And I have to make a public apology to my 5th years every year in some way because I give them a really hard time. And there's a reason for that. It's because in 6th year there's a certain amount of independence that you need to be given because you really need to come into your own. But in 5th year, there's a little bit of front-loading in terms of the content that you need to work with. You know, there's kind of like reasoning, questioning, positions that you need to take, standpoints, something which is really strong, and that we encourage you to kind of think creatively, independently, and, you know, kind of deal with the political, the social, the economic stuff. The hard questions about urbanism is where we challenge you. And so I really need to, you know, say to you that your 6th year is your opportunity where you will get the support and that you will grow. And I'm sure that the 6th years this year can kind of retrospectively see that kind of strategy that we've taken. And so please accept my apology. And so I think finally, I just want to say thank you to all the examiners. You know, this kind of peer review master exam process is really, really meaningful for us because of the feedback that we can get so that we can improve this master's course. And so I just want to say thank you to Sumayya, thank you to Tarek, who's here. I'm not sure if there are any other examiners. Daniel is here. Daniel's always like missing in action. I'm so sorry, Daniel. And to the graduating cohort, many congratulations to you. And I just want to say those of the 5th year cohort that are here, you can look forward to a much more supportive year next year. Yeah, I just also finally want to just say thank you to Derek, the Brain, Calais, Davey, I think Andre Ekstien was involved to some extent with the 6th years, and Amira Osman as well. And they've been an integral part, I think, of the 6th year studio, supporting the supervisors, and I think that, you know, this kind of diverse interactions and this kind of integrated way in which the 6th year course has been run, I think has been tremendously successful. So congratulations to everybody. Okay, that's it for me. Thanks very much.
I wrote a speech. Thank you in advance for indulging me. Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, and others. We're all very tired of the end of the world, I know, but I'm going to start there anyway. Thank you. In March of this year, just as the seasons were beginning to shift, the future was suddenly and shockingly removed from view. Of course, we know that it's only an illusion that we lost. What we had never really known but somehow thought we did was gone, and I could see all around me that the loss was keenly felt. Though it's far from over, I do think that it's appropriate at the end of the beginning of the long and meaningful careers of the class of 2020 to celebrate that, in spite of so much uncertainty, summer has come after all, and that there is fruit. Please pardon the agricultural pun. It's intended to resonate with an apparent theme underlying much of the work this year. The ground, the soil, the land, the earth. The earth as a whole, but also compacted and round. And then the dust, not yet settled. When we lost our future, our castles in the sky, we found ourselves radically on the ground. Our students have taken to this reality with a practical and courageous grace, and I wish to congratulate you all on a very, very substantial achievement. I would like to extend my congratulations and gratitude to the communities of support around our students that have made their achievements possible. It is this, the construction of community, that is architecture's most powerful activity. It is also probably the most difficult type of work that there is, and it is what makes architecture nearly impossible, but only nearly impossible. In a 1962 speculation subtitled Profiles of an Inquiry into the Limits of the Possible, Arthur C. Clarke wrote that any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. We've spent a few decades being beguiled by the terrifyingly miraculous technologies with which our environment has been saturated. Mostly they seem to be appearing from somewhere else. But this isn't really the case, since the contribution to the knowledge that produced these insanely sophisticated technologies have come from the labor, passion, and drive of people all over the surface of the earth. Having said that, it is true that it is a powerful illusion. We are not the only ones who are tempted to think of ourselves as the recipients rather than the creators of these technologies. And there are many who are more than willing, eager even, to claim first ownership and then superiority over the labor of love that has resulted in this technological proliferation. The role of the theory program at the Department of Architecture and Industrial Design at the Tshwane University of Technology is to help us remember that we are makers of the world. It comes with a lot of responsibility, and it's appropriate that we should tread carefully on the ground we find, uncover, bury, and make. The word technology, from the roots techne, roughly making, and logos, roughly word or knowledge, can be read as the knowledge of making and also as the making of knowledge. If it is true that advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic, and I believe that it is, then it can also be said that magic is indistinguishable from advanced technology. The world is full of forces that we have barely begun to glimpse, not only in faraway places, but right here in the ground underneath our feet. It is my hope that with the support of the faculty and the university, as well as the many committees and panels that take care of the systems with which we make knowledge here, that we will be able to investigate the technology of dreams, of politics, of community and care, of buildings, of structures, and ultimately, not only the magic of technology, but also the technology of magic. Thank you.
Hi everyone, thank you so much Derek for the generous introduction. On behalf of all of the examiners of 2020, it has been an absolute honor to be a part of TUT's examination process this year. We want to commend each and every one of you, all of the staff, all of the students, and all of your families here for their bravery, grit, and sheer will to have produced and presented all the worlds, the atmospheres, and the experiences that you have drawn into being, despite so many challenges and difficulties this year. But beyond this bravery, what has moved me most has been the bravery of the students to take on subject matter so deeply this year. I know that some of the work we've seen over the past 2 days will come to be an incredible source of strength and solidarity for me in my own work, and I am deeply grateful to have had this experience with all of you. It's been amazing to see students speak deeply from places of difference, from differently able-bodied bodies and visions, genders, cultures, sexualities, and so deeply from so many places, from lands, from earths, and from grounds of knowledge that have otherwise experienced epistemicides for so long. We have grown up in a world in which the social and political is so polarized from the world of imagination, and it is deeply profound and moving to see students starting to understand, to absorb, and also to project the importance of social and political imaginations, to understand and to feel that these concepts are absolutely and intricately intertwined, that dreaming is equally as political as advocacy. I am on home ground today. I was born in Pretoria. My father is from Marabastad. I was raised in Lothian, just up the road. And I started and finished my schooling here, and I started my architectural career in Pretoria as well. And I want to reiterate how important it is for me that I have had this particular examination experience on my own home ground. I want to impart to each and every one of the students that no matter how broadly your notions of home and home ground expand, hold close to you what this earth we stand on has given to you. Take its spirits and the imprints that it has made in you into the world. You have shown all of us that our homes and our grounds are waiting for and ripe for, but also deeply embedded with important stories that the world, and most importantly, that we ourselves need to hear. Thank you.